Welcome to the New York Times Popcast, your nueva y'all late night of music review and criticism. We're live. It's the Bad Bunny halftime show at the Super Bowl post-game. I'm Jon Caramanica. I'm the critic.
I am Joe Coscarelli, and I am the reporter.
Joe, the halftime show just finished a few minutes ago. I feel like I can comfortably say right off the top, it is not what I anticipated it would be. And obviously it's a bit of a fool's task, I think, to have an anticipation or a specific set of expectations going into an event of this scale, of this political valence potentially, of this footprint. Tell me a little bit about where you stand in terms of your shock level. Because I think my shock level is high and my curiosity level is peaked and maybe a little bit head scratched.
I don't feel shocked. I feel like that was, for better or worse, the live rendition of the commercial beforehand. There was the Bad Bunny Apple commercial saying the world will dance. It featured Bad Bunny dancing with an array of different kinds of people, different ages, different races, genders, styles, with the message, the world will dance. It was a message of unity, which we got from him at the end in a big billboard that said the only thing stronger than hate is love. And I feel like that energy was just exploded onto a well-designed stage or a intricately designed stage.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the thing that I am immediately struck by, we often think of these halftime shows as broadcasts out to the world. They're out to the stadium, of course, but they're out to the world. They're to the television. They're to 500 million or 1 billion people out watching. It's interesting to me that this show starts, the first 2 to 3 minutes, entirely walled off, right? I mean, obviously there's cameras and you're seeing it on television, but they're surrounded by plants. All the activity that's happening on the ground level, like at field level, is actually technically walled off from the stadium. It actually felt like an effort to talk about protected space and say, here is something that is intimate, that is personal, and that is actually not quite ready to be shared with the world. And then 2 or 3 minutes in on like the second or third song, all of a sudden it opens up and then you get this big narrative happening. But I was struck by that choice of this huge stage. And then what's happening is actually, it's just me and the guys. It's just me and the girls. I'm hanging out. I have the taco vendor. I'm getting the piraguas, like so on and so forth. That to me felt pointed. Like, I don't want to overread, because I think the sort of tendency with a halftime show, I mean, we saw this last year with Kendrick, the tendency is to overread every tiny gesture for political meaning. But I do think that the shift from an internal narrative to an external narrative was an important thing that happened here.
But why were Jessica Alba and Alex Earl invited to the party?
Allegedly. Also Cardi B.
Cardi B was
John
there.
Hamm, despite predictions.
Despite his broadcasting of his fandom on airmail. He really wanted an invite to the casita.
Yeah.
No, I think everything you're saying is true, but it so closely mirrors what Bad Bunny did at his Puerto Rico residency, down to the little house party, the straw hats, the plants, everything was hyper local.
Yep.
Puerto Rico. That was the initial bombardment of images and nods to local things. I think we're going to talk about the political statements made here and what forms they took.
Right.
I was struck right away by Bad Bunny's outfit. He was wearing cream on cream, sort of all white football jersey, last name on the back. The number was 64.
Yep.
64 important in this case because that was what the government of Puerto Rico initially claimed was the death toll from Hurricane Maria. People felt like they were downplaying it. There were protests in which people put shoes, government buildings to represent all of their lost loved ones, show how high the death toll really was in the thousands. Bad Bunny came out years later and said he put his own shoes there. He joined the protest. That was the first thing you saw from him, and that was
before the show even started.
Right.
In the walk up
during the commercial break.
Yeah.
And I think what he was doing was bringing Puerto Rican excellence to the world stage. You saw food, you saw jewelry, you saw boxing,
Dance.
lots of dance. Was that a good halftime show?
I'm not 100% sure. Again, when we're thinking about these kind of like huge halftime show epics of years past, like I thought a lot about Prince's halftime show and how Prince, much like Bad Bunny, this is not a band. This is one individual doing the show solo. Bad Bunny, we'll get to Lady Gaga in a second, or not. And Prince somehow, via, dare I say, exaggerated shadow, managed to make a show that was actually huge scaled.
Sure.
I felt like there was something resolute and small about this. In a way, it reminded me a little bit of The Weeknd's halftime show and Usher's halftime show that were very, very much about micro things. The Weeknd, obviously, is COVID era. It's kind of like get a mulligan on that one. But the Usher,
That's a polite way to put it.
yeah.
The Weeknd, not the showman that Usher nor Bad Bunny.
No, but the Usher one, like I remember thinking at the moment, very much a technician's approach to a huge scaled event. This felt like a technician's approach, but Bad Bunny's not a dancer like Usher or even like a hyper-technical singer, but he is a technician of gesture. He is a technician of reference.
Sure.
And so to me, look, we were in the room watching and saying this is very Broadway. Like this is, you know,
Say it.
So say it's giving Lin-Manuel. Like there's some aspect of Bad Bunny narrating a series of events using his songs as a through line to tell a story about Puerto Rican history and excellence. You said excellence, but to me, it's also about Puerto Rican history and conflict. It's about tension as well. And if we're going to talk about the political framing of this show, it's literally bringing some of those things that feel very specific and local narrative-wise, bringing them into a macro audience once, especially the first 2 or 3 minutes passed.
I want to get into the politics, what was there subtly, what was there less subtly, and what wasn't there. But I do think to linger just a minute on pure performance, felt messy to me. It felt like you wanted Bad Bunny to do as much moving as Usher when that is not how Bad Bunny performed.
Yeah,
Bad Bunny
sure.
is not a trained dancer or roller skater from childhood. Like Usher covered a lot of ground. Like if you imagine who had the most steps like on their Apple Watch during the Super Bowl, it's like Beyonce and Usher near the top, right? I think Bad Bunny is challenging them on step count, but I don't know that he needed to be as active as he was. Like there were moments in this where I felt like it because he was asked to do so much physically, the vocals were a little up and down.
Yeah, sure.
They were choppy. You know, he starts with Titi Me Preguntó. And I feel like you could feel him trying to hit his marks to get from point A to point Z.
Sort of like moving, but again, ultimately moving within the maze of the of the set.
There was something about it that felt like they were still rehearsing it because there were so many moving parts, and he never really got to like lock in because he always had to get to the next set piece.
Okay, so I think I had a similar feeling to you, but I may be theorizing it slightly differently, which is like, I think when we're watching a Super Bowl halftime show, we're very much trained to look at the performer and the center and saying, that person, all the action resides in that individual. And I think by design, what we just saw was communal.
Definitely.
It was vast.
Definitely.
It was historical. It was sociopolitical. And it wasn't about Bad Bunny as an individual avatar of anything. It was about him as a aggregator of a number of things, whether it's, again, historical references, political references, or just simply cultural touchstones. And so I think what you're referring to is there's a lot happening. It's him kind of almost like, it's like you're the only person on the dance floor, and you're just like, come on, like you, get over here, you know, everybody come on. And I think, yes, if you're looking at Bad Bunny and being like, why am I not just getting more of this guy? Like the most famous man on the planet. Why am I just not getting more of this guy? It's because he is at every turn kind of defying that and saying it's not really about me. It's about this. It's about what happened with the blackouts. It's about Tonita. It's about boxers and the jewelry salespeople and the taco. It's about all of us. And maybe that's a tougher thing to communicate in a televised single person 12 to 13 minute performance on a football field.
I do think it was a message of unity. It was a collective love and joy. You had this plot line, this narrative plot line of a couple getting engaged, and then
the child shows up and he gets the Grammy.
At the end, there's a wedding in between. I did appreciate that they acknowledged that Die With a Smile was only made to be performed at weddings. Lady Gaga is the wedding singer at what appeared to be a fictional wedding. I don't know.
We'll find out later.
Yeah, sure. But she was doing Die With a Smile with a Latin beat behind it, which didn't really work for me.
I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, well, let's come back to the guests. Right.
Okay, we keep being like we're going to come back to it.
We were going to come back to the guests because and actually maybe this is a good segue. Yeah. I think the other guest, Ricky Martin, made one of the more overt political references in the show by performing Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah, which is the Bad Bunny song from Debí Tirar Más Fotos about not wanting statehood.
Yeah.
I don't want what happened to Hawaii to happen to Puerto Rico.
Anti-imperialism.
Sure. And Ricky Martin performing in the plastic chair, this symbol from the cover of the album that has become, this is a message of like self-sufficiency, but also of Latin American unity. And I think that much more than giving any airtime to President Trump, to ICE specifically, what did you make of the way he used the stage for politics? Because that was obviously the big question coming in. Will he make an anti-Trump statement? Will he make an anti-ICE statement? And we can talk about what he did in the finale.
Yeah.
But overall, did this scratch that itch for you?
No, to me, before the show, we were talking about the Jennifer Lopez and Shakira performance, and there was that moment where there were children in cages, and apparently J-Lo had been asked to remove that from the show, and she said no. We didn't get anything that literal, I don't think, in this show. And I'm actually quite surprised. It's an opportunity to really tell a story about a country that is really roiling right now. And
our country.
This country. Yes, the one we are in.
Yeah.
And I think to say the only thing that's bigger than hate is love, like all of those things, they're nice things. They're maybe even true things in some settings. But it is not the same thing as speaking candidly about an ongoing, long-running trauma in this country.
Yeah, and that moment, so at the end, before they play DTMF, the title track from the album that just won Album of the Year at the Grammys, you have Bad Bunny, and he's naming all the Latin American countries. He says, "God bless America" in English.
Shouts out Canada.
Says the United States, says my motherland, Puerto Rico, in both English and in Spanish. And then he says in Spanish, he says, "We're still here," and he spikes the football. I don't think that had the political climax that it might have had on paper because the visuals were so chaotic, the sound was so chaotic. And then I also missed the musical climax of the DTMF sing-along, which they start on their way out of the stadium, and then for whatever reason, technical or otherwise,
the sound cuts off,
and you don't get that catharsis. So I don't know. I'm just like, I'm left feeling like there were so many marks to hit, and
Yeah.
I don't know that it hit all of them, and I feel slightly unfulfilled as a music fan.
Okay, let's talk about it through this lens, because I think if we were sitting here talking about, you know, a Taylor Swift halftime show, a halftime show by any mainstream white artist, we wouldn't be having this version of this conversation,
Of course.
which is in and of itself something to think about, that people don't tend to expect these kinds of political statements from white artists. That said, what degree of fairness is it, or was it, to say, hey, you have this stage, you are obliged to be overtly political?
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying
musically.
but I'm saying the world. Like
Sure.
the fact that that is a narrative that that Bad Bunny as a performer is going headlong into. Is that unfair inherently?
I think everyone played a part in the anticipation of that, including Bad Bunny, who knew that as an artist who's been political throughout all of his career in ways both small and local and much larger. He was said ice out on stage at the Grammys 1 week ago. I think the NFL knows that will they, won't they, this controversy is good for the show. I think there were a lot of eyes on this. Turning Point USA doing their alt halftime show, which may or may not be happening right now. If you're enjoying Ba With a Ba,
Up jump the boogie.
yeah, hit us in the comments. Speaking of the comments, we will be taking questions as we move on.
Absolutely.
Please put all your questions in the chat, and our producers will feed us the good ones before we're done here. Look,
Maybe
I think
some of the bad ones.
yeah, maybe some of the bad ones too. We love bad questions.
Yeah.
I just don't think I hear what you're saying
Yeah.
about maybe Taylor Swift wouldn't have any expectations.
Yeah, it's all a straw man argument, but I do kind of wonder. I think the thing that you were saying about him trying to clutter a lot of things into one performance is true. And I do think that, like, maybe the solution is to, in essence, play defense against the most literal and pointed expectation.
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure. And there was a lot of personal narrative there too. You know, he says always believe in yourself when he gives the kid the Grammy. You know, there was good vibes. I think overall the message was one of good vibes, and he didn't want to bring the party down.
Except by having Lady Gaga.
Except by having Lady. So should we go through the set
Sure.
list?
Let's go through the set list. Titi Me Pregunto, sort of like if I would have bet money on the
Sure.
opening song, I feel like I probably would have put money.
Didn't put any Kalshi or Polymarket money
No.
down.
Obviously, start high.
Sure.
Start high energy, start punchy also. Like, that's the other thing about a halftime show, is there's not a lot of room for subtlety.
Yeah.
And I do think, again, to sort of make the Usher comparison, there were some subtle things happening last year that I feel like if you're watching in a very small way, you're like, oh, he's kind of going off. But in a big way, maybe didn't translate.
Sure.
I do feel a little bit the same here. Like, it's almost like if that exact thing had been a stage play and you were like in a Broadway theater watching that, you might be like, this totally makes sense and goes. But the minute you abstract it out to the 75,000 people in the stadium and the billion people watching, kind of gets a little vaporous.
I thought that was a fine opener. As I said, I felt like it took him a minute to get stable on the mic, especially as he's trying to get where he's going. Hearing Pereo Sola, rather.
Yep.
Again, there are these moments of political statement.
100%.
They are sprinkled through Bad Bunny's career, Bad Bunny's music. They're all here. This is a song that is about, misogynist violence in Puerto Rico and in general. It's, Spanish for I'm dancing alone, essentially. I'm grinding alone. Look, if you are engaged in Bad Bunny or want to be, if this made you curious about him and you're Googling all these things, you're learning a ton. But for a casual viewer, which there were, millions, tens of millions watching this, I don't know that you pick up on some of those subtleties. Less subtle moment, I think more people probably picked up on Gasolina.
Gasolina. So
huge reggaeton hit from the aughts.
Yeah. So, Puerto Rico pops up in a number of ways during this set. Obviously, Ricky Martin, one of the great Puerto Rican stars of the 21st century. So Daddy Yankee as well. Gasolina and the crossover of Gasolina truly does set the stage for what Bad Bunny is able to do 10 years or 12 years later. Daddy Yankee had been interviewed maybe 2 months ago.
Well, he's gone Mace mode, right?
Yes.
He's found God.
He has.
He said he doesn't want to perform.
Yeah, he does not. He cannot. He said he'd be open to having a conversation with Bad Bunny perhaps about his choices in life, sure. but that he would not be wanting to go back and revisit some of the saucier, more salacious elements of his catalog.
Right.
Looked great though in the interview.
Bad Bunny.
Daddy Yankee.
Daddy Yankee.
Daddy Yankee.
Looking good.
Looking incredible. Looking incredible. Skin looking great.
He moves through a couple hits
Mm-hmm.
quickly there. You get a little taste of Monaco.
Yep.
Which is, more trap, Bad
Mm-hmm.
Bunny. And then
not much of that all told.
Yeah, although first half I would say was very reggaeton forward, right? That was the sort of felt like that's the root of things. That's his beginnings. And then it blooms into the Lady Gaga performance, which you want to say more about that? Is that just like a olive branch, like a peace offering to like your most down the middle?
Look, I don't want to say
flyover state. White
I don't
view.
want
I don't
to
know. I'm not
say
saying that Lady Gaga is a red state performer, but she is a
in this context
monoculture celebrity.
Look,
dentist's office, die with a smile.
I feel like I don't. The narrative about how halftime shows come together historically is the NFL, whoever it is, Rock Nation, any institution doesn't have any specific input. They don't say, you have to do this song, you have to perform with this person, you have to collaborate with so-and-so. So let's take that at its word. I don't know if it's real, but let's take it at its word. That means that Bad Bunny chose that out of any person who he could have share that stage, it's Lady Gaga. And I really remain vexed. It's not a song that is complementary with the Bad Bunny catalog.
Right.
It's not even, no matter what percussive elements they added to it.
Sure.
I guess I have to give credit for Lady Gaga for not going too hard in the paint and going over the top and like trying to steal the show. She didn't Beyonce Coldplay the thing.
Yes, she did not Beyonce Coldplay the thing. Well put.
Yes. But
we're live, by the way, on YouTube.
Yeah. I just
yeah,
those are no, it's like those are 90 seconds you can't get back.
Yeah.
You can't get those seconds
Valuable
back.
real estate.
It's not a 1 hour set.
Yeah.
It's not a 2 hour set.
Yeah.
It's a 12 to 13 minute set.
Yep.
That's 90 seconds. I don't know that it's narratively coherent. It's certainly not musically coherent. And I guess it activates my cynicism, which is to say it's a olive branch or it's a signal to let people know, like, hey, here's a person who you acknowledge as like a mainstream white American star who can be on this stage. Yep. And it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't actually make sense, but like notionally it makes sense. It didn't feel right.
In the fan...
and especially with Cardi B right there.
Right.
Cardi B literally, no exaggeration.
But that's what I was
right
going to
there.
say. In the fan fiction version of the Lady Gaga cameo, it was Cardi and Bad Bunny doing I Like It.
Yeah.
Him doing the line paparazzi like I'm Lady Gaga.
And then boom.
Paparazzi by Lady Gaga.
Why
to
not?
me, the best peak era. This is like it's not a deep cut, but like in terms of those singles from that era, Paparazzi is the one for me. Go when you're done with this, just go type Lady Gaga paparazzi in your little YouTube search. Just do me a favor, watch the paparazzi video.
But subscribe to Popcast first.
Yeah. And while you're here, questions in the chat, please. We're going to be getting to those in a few minutes. Second half of the performance was more DTMF. It was more from the most recent Bad Bunny album. Again, Grammy-winning album of the year, first ever in Spanish. Historic album, great songs. You get Nueva York, You got Hawaii, as we mentioned. The most pointed political moment,
Yes.
maybe, is the song from previous to this album. You get Apagón,
Yep.
which is the one that he put out along with a documentary about the blackouts in Puerto Rico. You have him performing alongside others on utility poles to symbolize the power grid in Puerto Rico and its weaknesses.
Yeah, and the song opens up with the dancers at the top of the utility poles getting shocked and sort of falling off the poles. Obviously, they then get back up on the pole and continue the routine. But I thought that was the one moment, no pun intended, but that was the one true political jolt, I thought. I saw that and I said, okay, like, here we are. Like, this is unmistakable what we're talking about here.
But I don't know. Like, again,
fascinating.
unmistakable because you've seen the Apagón video.
Yes.
Like, if this is your introduction to Bad Bunny, and again, I'm not saying that it was his job to hold people's hand.
Yeah.
Like, I hope out of the 100 million people that watch this, like, some large percentage of them, or a small percentage that's a large raw number, has their curiosity piqued and wants to look more into who was this guy and what is he referring to? What are these symbols I don't get? Like, one thing that's great about music in any language and hip hop and rap descendant music in general is that you don't always know what's going on. And as a listener, you want, maybe if you're engaged, you want to figure it out and you might learn something, right? Like, how much of, you know, what amount of books or political figures or whatever have we gotten from listening to music and to again, rap oriented music in particular. So I hope that can happen here. But when you say it's
big J. Cole fan energy.
Look, I'm just saying. But that was an earnest moment. Like, I hope
I know.
some kid's
I'm
mind
scared.
is blown.
I'm literally scared. I've never seen you so earnest.
But again, I don't think it was unmistakable if you're just trying to see
Fair.
the Patriots get their ass beat.
Wow.
Sorry. But that's a football reference.
Yeah. Is that why we're here?
You get Café con Ron, and then you get Debí tirar más fotos as the outro.
Yep.
How did things end for you? I already said I just at least would have liked more of the sing-along. I felt like I was robbed of, like, I wanted all those people from the casita back. I wanted Alex Earl belting. Allegedly.
Yeah, are we 100% sure it's Alex Earl? Do we know that?
A lot of people are saying it's Alex
in the
Earl.
doc.
We're live on YouTube, right?
It's in the doc. Put it in the chat.
We're fact checking in real time. If that was an Alex Earl lookalike, tell us in the chat. But be real, be serious.
Okay, so what I will say is to go back to my thought on the opening couple of minutes of the show, right? Which are, it's Bad Bunny doing a one-person walking tour of Puerto Rican cultural specificity, walled off from the Super Bowl.
Yep.
A literal safe, protected space while being observed by a billion people, but a safe, protected space.
Yep.
The last 2 minutes are the opposite. Finally, you know, it's building up over the course of the show, but the last 2 minutes reminded me the most, and unfortunately I was not there, but it's the pop out. It's Kendrick's the pop out. It's everybody's there.
Yeah,
whole
Lefty
crew's
Gunplay.
there. Steve Lacy, the whole, you know, not actually, but you know what I'm saying? Like every single person is there. And when he's walking off, yes, the sound did cut off when he was walking off out into the tunnel. But there's that moment when everybody kind of like converges on him, all the dancers and friends, and I'm sure we'll find out who every other person in that particular cluster was. But to me, it was both the most open sharing of the night, obviously DTMF. To your point, I would love to hear more of the sing-along, but I do feel like you kind of knew, you understood. It was implicit in a way, and he's broadcasting it out to the world, and then surrounded by the guys, kind of like arm around neck, running off. Like, we did that.
Yeah.
So, again, pointed counterpoint, I think. Sorry. That's a weird phrase, but a notable counterpoint to the opening of the show.
Sure.
And I think that maybe was the most Super Bowl halftime show bit were those last like 90 seconds.
Again, on paper, but I feel like it didn't quite land on television, right? And that's why I would have liked a little more musically from the last, let's call it a minute, right?
Spiritually speaking, is the Super Bowl halftime show a TV performance or a live performance in a state?
100% a TV performance.
100% TV performance.
Right?
Yes, agree. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I just,
sure.
Alex Earl confirmed in the note.
Great.
Shout out, Kate.
I do want to say the real
Alex Earl, why? We don't have a why.
Oh, do you want me to tell you?
Alarmingly, yes.
Rumored to be dating Tom Brady.
Oh.
I don't know why that.
But Tom Brady probably at the Kid Rock thing.
Tom Brady played for the Patriots, and now he's an NFL announcer,
know,
so he's probably there at the
know,
Super Bowl. Also, part owner of the Raiders. We don't have to get into all that.
Yeah.
No, I do want to say we're getting this over the transom. The Truth Social review is in.
Okay.
Our president, Donald J. Trump, says absolutely terrible, one of the worst, capital ever, ! Makes no sense, is an affront to greatness, slap in the face, something about the stock market, your 401k, and the NFL should replace the ridiculous kickoff rule.
Is that true?
But
I'm saying as a non-sports person, is that part of it at least true?
I won't comment on anything in this Truth Social post.
Okay.
In terms of its veracity or not. Look, that was not a controversial Super Bowl halftime show.
No, it's funny because it
just wasn't.
No, when we filmed a couple days ago about our sort of predictions or anticipations of the show, you said that essentially no matter what happens on stage, there will be a quote unquote controversy in right-wing media tomorrow. Good luck.
Yeah, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Like, you're so mad that Tonita from
the
Williamsburg Caribbean Social Club was there. Just for anyone non-New York listeners, people who didn't Google right away, who was the elderly woman serving him a drink in and around Nueva York. That was, I believe her name is Maria K, aka Tonita, and she's the den mother owner of this Latin social club. Great spot. Bad Bunny popped in there a couple times, essentially making it so no one can ever go there again.
Yeah.
But very cool that she got to appear on stage with him. John, any final thoughts before we take a few questions here, YouTube live? If you're listening to this the day after, thank you for bearing with us. We've never really done this before. Parting words.
No, I mean, I do want to... I sympathize with your frustration.
I'm not frustrated.
I don't sympathize with your frustration.
It just wasn't my favorite halftime show, and my expectations were very high.
Yeah, I think...
It was cool.
Yeah, it was like, it operated at a level just, it floated just above grounded. It moved fast. There were a lot of parts. There weren't a lot of specific moments where I was like, this is happening, like right now, this thing. Like, strangely, the Gaga and the Ricky Martin moments were way more grounded, at least like televisually, than a bunch of the Bad Bunny moments. And that, I think, is probably a missed opportunity.
It looked like a party. It didn't feel to me like a party. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't get my...
And you're outside.
Look,
you're outside.
Look,
legendarily.
Yeah, my abuelita's birthday party, 90th birthday party over the summer. Like, we were dancing. Yeah. Like, I didn't feel. Look, I'm here in the office. It's not because
we're in the New York
on a Sunday night. Look,
night.
I understand the barrier to wanting to stand up and dance is high.
Yeah.
I just wasn't adrenalized by it in the way that I wanted to be. Which is not to say that it was a bad performance or that I'm disappointed that it happened.
No, of course.
Don't get it twisted. Like, Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show is both meaningful and cool, and the songs are great.
Let me ask a question though. Just as I said before, Cardi B is literally right there.
Yeah.
Why is the Die with a Smile slot not I like it?
That will be the question rattling around in my mind when we
Like,
go
'cause
to
obviously
sleep
there
tonight
was like,
and
I
when
know
we wake up
over
tomorrow.
time, like in past, there was like some tension between Balvin and Bad Bunny purportedly. I don't think that's that real, and
Yeah.
it's kind of, if it was real,
think
it's
they
not real
squashed it.
anymore. You have an opportunity to tell a different kind of story.
Yeah.
I candidly was surprised. That said, look, you mentioned how this is in essence an updating / reframing of what was happening at the Puerto Rico residency. I did like, I don't want to say it's hubris, but I like the idea of like, yeah, I got Cardi. She's just standing there.
That's cool.
She's having a great time.
Carol G too.
Yeah, just having
Jessica
a great
Alba
time.
too.
Jessica, cool. Beauty product, like doing the natural beauty product plug. I don't know, but that in and of itself, like every night, like much like, God forbid, Morgan Wallen walkouts or Drake guests or whatever. Every night you would get videos from the residency, and you'd be like, oh, that person's there. That person's there. Like all those people there simply to see and soak in Bad Bunny. And I think there's something to be said of, even on this huge stage, Bad Bunny saying, you know what? Like, I want that energy here too. I would have found it a little less vexing if he had just done 12 minutes purely solo.
Totally. All right, we're going to hit a couple questions from the chat. Keep them coming.
Chat.
We'll do this for a little bit.
W's in the chat?
We got
W's
a question.
in the chat?
Yeah, W's in the chat.
W's in the chat. All
Throw
right,
'em in
great.
there. Favorite visual moment in the show? You have one that stuck out to you?
I think it was probably the El Apagón, the opening.
Up on the thing.
Up on the utility poles, the dancers, sparks flying and sort of falling and then caught by the wires and then shimmying back up to the top and turning that into routine. And then Bad Bunny himself climbing to the top of one of the poles or an adjacent pole, really taking in and surveying the scope of the field and the scope of the opportunity. Again, for a show that starts very much like I'm whispering, like me and my friends are whispering. In that moment, you had this whole opportunity. Bad Bunny is like, it's almost like, I don't know what parts of a ship are called. The bow of a ship?
You need to watch more Below Deck.
Yeah, it's true. Like the thing in the front, is that the bow?
Sure.
Whatever. Like you're standing in the front and you're kind of like, da, 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 da. When he climbs to the top of that pole, it's really like, I'm seeing the world.
Yeah.
What about you?
I gotta go with Tonita. Like that was just a cool,
great moment.
That was just a cool little moment.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. You know, a lot of this performance was if you know, you know.
Real talk.
But that one is New York specific. We got a question from Gala Prudent 6194 about the
Gala.
frog.
Shout out Gala.
You know that?
Yeah, of course. I know Gala. Yeah.
Shout out
What's
to
up, Gala?
Asked about the frog, which has become a sort of mascot for Bad Bunny's album. It is a crested toad, known in Puerto Rico as sapo concho. That's an endangered animal, threatened by overdevelopment on the island. And so he's made this cartoon version of it that sort of stood in for, again, more local Puerto Rican politics. But good question. Thanks for
Anti-Pepe?
shouting that out. Mojo918 says, could the visual intensity partially come from an anxiety about entertaining a non-Spanish speaking audience? We don't speak Spanish, but the visuals communicated a lot for us. I think that's a fair point. I think like
that the sort of
kinetic movement
was to be kind of like post language,
Sure.
or pre language,
Sure.
even. Like that is a we don't want to forget what Bad Bunny said at the press conference a couple of days ago, which is that I know I said that you have to learn Spanish to enjoy the show. You don't have to learn Spanish. You just have to
Learn to
be
dance.
ready to dance. It's gonna be a party. It's gonna be easy. I think hearing him say that, watching that press conference, I was wondering, is that just the thing you say at the Ebro and Zane Lowe press conference, just to kind of get to the end of the Ebro and Zane Lowe press conference? But I do think maybe that's an interesting way to think of it. This is maybe more a visual halftime show than it is a oral AURAL halftime show. It's interesting thinking.
That goes to another question. Infamous Chanel asked what we thought of the sugarcane fields at the beginning, which I think you touched on earlier, this idea of, you call it walled off, I think you said, but I also think it's like protected, right? Like
definitely
sort
protected.
of like, you're both in my motherland and in my zone.
Yeah.
You know, while also, of course, nodding back to the history of sugarcane in Puerto Rico, et cetera, et cetera. We got a couple questions from people saying, how does this compare to Kendrick's show last year? I thought the intent was
I kept
similar.
saying Usher last year. My bad. Usher 2 years ago.
Usher was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
My bad. RE5678 says, TBH, I thought the intent was similar, but I liked Bad Bunny's better as a Kendrick Lamar fan. Also busy, the Kendrick one.
Yes.
Very busy. I mean, Kendrick's music tends to be a lot more like, you know, in your face in that way, without the grooves, not as many grooves as Bad Bunny. There was a lot going on symbolically with the video game thing, the Uncle Sam narration. It's true that it had this sort of like narrative scaffolding similar to what I think they were going for with the wedding, with the couple stuff that didn't really land. I don't know. These two performances, compare and contrast.
Yeah, I think, look, you can't assess the Kendrick performance outside of the framework of the Drake beef, right? Like, you can't assess it. And
because it was all leading up to
it's really like it's sort of the pièce de résistance at the end of this like very long, dynamic struggle of titans, right? I think that no matter how much narrative was overlaid onto the Kendrick show last year, the Kendrick show was a one-man show. Didn't matter if other people showed up. It didn't matter what the narrative was. Didn't matter what was on a video screen. Didn't really matter what the dancers did. Really, this is a hero's narrative. I do not think the Bad Bunny show is designed as a hero's narrative. I think it's designed as collective storytelling.
Right.
And so I think even if there might have been some optic similarities between the two.
You just did a retake. We're on YouTube live.
Sorry, cut it at home. Cut it at home. I don't think that the intent was the same, even if there are optic overlaps.
I do think when it comes to the if you know aspect, there's a lot to chew on in both symbolically and to unpack and to try to decode. And I do think we're in that moment of popular culture, which is like everything needs an explainer, everything needs a breakdown. There was weeks worth of that.
Grok, is this true?
There was a week's worth of that with Kendrick, and I think there will be as much with Bad Bunny. Like everything we've sort of done a quick gloss on. Yeah, and you can write a whole blog post about any one of those,
or even things we might have missed. I mean,
and we'll be finding out more as soon as we log off.
Yes,
in the morning, someone will catch some other little reference. Again, like I think the 64 stood out to me. I think that was probably pretty pointed, the power lines, etc. Donitas, like all these little things, like each one of these things is going to be a piece of content. So I do think insofar as these last couple really have legs that will last beyond tonight and beyond the game, I think that's like a kind of a hallmark of a lot of the Rock Nation shows so far. Like Rihanna, obviously, there was a lot of people guessing what the symbolism was there with her pregnant. I think they want these to have Easter eggs. I think that we are in the time of Easter eggs, and that has, especially in popular music, and that has landed at the Super Bowl halftime show. John, we're almost done.
Are we? I could go for hours.
We've been here forever.
I don't get tired.
We're going to be here longer next time we do this, right? We're just going to stream and stream and stream and stream.
That's absolutely
until we
correct.
Can't stream no more.
That's correct.
It's 9:23 p.m.
Yeah.
Someone tell me what the score of the game is. Before we go, I think we have to have a snack.
We sure do.
And maybe we'll take a final question or two while we finish up.
Great, let's do it. So we had potluck here at the office.
Yep. Sunday night crew.
I have to be really candid and say I did not expect the level of effort that went into the potluck. I brought Popeyes, which is the extent of my cooking capacities.
Jeff Ahaza, stop putting questions in the chat. Sophie doesn't know that we know you.
Wait, what is Jeff?
Jeff's asking a lot of questions. I'm skipping them all.
Jeff Wilding in the chat?
Yeah, he says, do y'all speak Spanish? FR.
See.
I'm not fluent, but I was raised in a Spanish-speaking household.
That's a very serious answer to a very
Yeah,
unserious
Jeff.
question. Yeah.
That's a Rolling Stone staff writer, Jeff Ahasa,
yeah.
and not doing his job, just watching our live blog and
File your
commenting.
Jeff, file your copy.
Okay. I didn't have time to cook today for the potluck. I wanted to make a buffalo chicken dip. I was going to make a buffalo chicken dip
Is
from
that
scratch.
cooking?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. What do you know?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. It's an honest question.
I went to the store. I bought some chips and some dip. I got these late night loaded taco Doritos.
I have seen these.
I thought that these were appropriate.
Yeah.
Because we're here after hours.
I mean, it's, in color, it's similar. It's kin to the spicy sweet chili or sweet spicy
it's
chili
like a purple
Doritos.
bag.
Yeah, purplish bag.
If you're tuning into Popcast for the first time, thank you. Like and subscribe. Anywhere you get your podcast, but definitely on YouTube, where we're live right now. Every episode of Popcast ends with a snack test. Usually we have a guest taste them with us.
I want to say I bumped into someone on the subway yesterday as I remained carless.
Sure.
I was on the subway. I bumped into someone who said they had watched the Erykah Badu. And how do I know they watched the Erykah Badu? They watched all the way to the end, and they said, I like what she did with the chips.
She threw the snack.
She threw them at me.
Because they were so bad.
Yes.
So
committed viewer, shout out, do.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but did we use that as the cold open to the episode? I can't remember where we landed on the edit. Go back and watch that Erykah Badu interview. Late night loaded taco Dorito. They smell spicy for you. I'm just gonna say. Oh, John and I love junk food, so we always try a rare, flavorful, sometimes less flavorful. In the case of Erykah Badu,
Sometimes
snack.
less rare.
Here we are. And our audio listeners hate the ASMR, but I know that the ones who don't say they hate it love it. They love hearing us crunch. And Nick, our sound guy, is laughing behind the booth.
I want to say, if you have made it this far into this podcast or any podcast, and if you have a quarrel with the snack segment, you really need to look in the mirror and ask, are you really a fan? That's a serious thing. That's a you thing.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, jeez.
I have to admit that I've already had these.
I mean, it does smell like a loaded taco. I mean, they do nail the smell.
Yeah.
You've had these. Okay.
I have. I think they're good. There's like a grill flavor to them,
Yeah. It's actually not that close to the spicy sweet chili Dorito. It's closer, I think, to just straight OG.
Yeah.
It's just a red Dorito.
With taco seasoning, with the packet that says taco seasoning.
Yeah.
I find it quite underwhelming. I think it's really accurate. I taste meat on the grill, but it's not. It needs more tang or something. I want more like avocado flavor.
You know what it is?
Lime.
This is all right. Not to get into a total disquisition about Doritos. But if I may, just for a second, the fundamental flaw of Doritos. No.
I won't hear of such a thing.
No. I mean, I love Doritos.
Sure.
I love Cool Ranch Doritos. I love regular Doritos. I love spicy sweet chili Doritos. Sorry, it's not an ad. I do love Doritos. Yeah. But there is a fundamental flaw, which is, I believe, unadorned, the chip itself is not that exciting from a flavor perspective.
No, you need the flavor to cover the chip.
Right. I am getting too much chip here.
I agree. There's not enough flavor.
And there's literally for loaded top, I should be overwhelmed by the flavor.
Yeah.
And instead, what I'm getting is the kind of almost woodenness of the chip.
Sure.
The minute I get through the initial seasoning burst. I'm not mad.
6 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5.5. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Don't trade in your favorites.
No, it's a limited edition for a reason. I don't think we'll see it again. John, before we close,
do we have more questions?
Question from Sophie Erickson, our producer.
Are you guys done?
Yeah. Yes.
Literally.
We're also getting reports live on the feed that the wedding was real, which shout out to Macklemore. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you were watching
The VMAs 9 years ago.
Grammys?
Grammys?
Sure.
Whatever.
Macklemore did it. Macklemore did it first.
Like Soldier Play.
Sophie Erickson wants to know, who do we want to see next year?
Who do we want to see or who will we see?
Who do we want to see?
Obviously, I'd be extremely happy to see Taylor. I'd be extremely happy to see Drake.
It's time.
What do I
Drake and Taylor together.
What do
Drake and Taylor versus
concert of the decade, of the century? What do I think we will see?
Benson Boone?
No.
I know where you're going.
You
with
know,
this.
it's
Say it.
it's Morgan
Say it.
Wallen.
You really think they're gonna go country?
I do.
Like Jelly Roll, Morgan Wallen, Lainey Wilson, like extravaganza? Didn't people say that last year? Oh, it's rap, and then they got to swing to country, and then we got Bad Bunny. So,
I mean, it's bad, but I mean, it's still top 5 performers
Sure.
of the current moment.
Sure.
But I think once you're out of that, and
the pendulum has to swing.
and also it's like if you don't get Taylor, really, what is the other option? Unless Jay-Z himself does it,
Jay-Z
in
and
which case,
Beyonce?
phenomenal.
Act 3.
We'll fly out for it.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's cool country.
Okay.
Next year.
All right. I'm going Jay-Z, Beyonce. Why not?
Great. That's our show. Every episode of, first of all, second live stream in a week.
Yep.
We're starting to like this. It's damaging probably to our personal health and also to our staff. We appreciate everyone who's been here with us Sunday night tonight and last Sunday night for the Grammy live stream. We will continue to live stream in myriad forms throughout the year. Turn on your alerts. Check back in for that. Every episode of Popcast is at nytimes.com/Popcast. We're on YouTube at Popcast. Get your clips at Instagram and TikTok at Popcast. I'm John. That's Joe. Credits and link in bio. We're out.